The celestial Voyager had been drifting in the Andromeda sector for 3 standard years. When Emily first laid eyes on it, the ship was a masterpiece of Luxarian engineering, a vessel designed to run on pure starlight, converting photonic energy into propulsion through crystalline matrices that defied human understanding. Now it floated dead in space, its once luminous hull dim and lifeless, a ghost ship that had become the graveyard of its entire crew. Emily Torres was not supposed to be here. As a human mechanic stationed on the frontier outpost Kepler 7, her expertise lay in combustion engines and basic fusion reactors, the crude, reliable technology that humanity had used to claw its way into the stars. But when the distress beacon from the celestial Voyager reached the outpost, and when every Luxarian engineer declared the ship beyond salvation, Emily had volunteered for reasons she couldn't entirely explain. The airlock hissed open, and she floated into the ship's main corridor. Her helmet light cut through the darkness, revealing walls that seemed to absorb rather than reflect illumination. The Luxarians had built this vessel from materials harvested from neutron star debris, compressed and refined until they achieved a density that could channel starlight itself. Without power, the ship was essentially a tomb of compressed matter, beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. "This is insane," crackled the voice of Erling Anderson through her comm system. Erling was her partner on this salvage mission, a Norwegian astrophysicist who had spent the last decade studying exotic propulsion systems. He was currently aboard their shuttle, monitoring Emily's vitals and maintaining their only link to civilization. "Emily, the schematics we have are incomplete. You're working blind in there. When have I ever needed complete schematics?" Emily replied, allowing herself a small smile behind her visor. It was bravado, mostly, but there was truth in it too. Emily had grown up in the orbital shipyards above Earth, learning her trade from her grandmother, who had learned it from her grandfather. The Torres family didn't believe in impossible repairs, only repairs that hadn't been figured out yet. She made her way to the engine room, her magnetic boots clicking against the deck plating with each step. The chamber was vast, cathedral-like in its dimensions. At its center floated the heart of the ship, the photonic core, a sphere of crystallized light roughly the size of a small car. Even dormant, it possessed an otherworldly beauty, its surface showing fractal patterns that seemed to shift when viewed from different angles. Emily approached cautiously, extending her scanner. The readings made no sense. The core showed no electromagnetic signature, no thermal output, nothing that her instruments were designed to detect. According to every metric she understood, the object before her shouldn't exist. "Erling, I'm at the core," she reported, "and I have absolutely no idea what I'm looking at." There was a pause. Then Erling's voice came back, tinged with excitement. "Try a photonic resonance scan. I'm sending you the parameters now." The Luxarians don't use electromagnetic principles, they use light as both power and information. Emily made the adjustments, feeling out of her depth but unwilling to admit it. The new skin produced results that made her breath catch. The core wasn't dead, it was dormant, its internal matrices locked in a stable but inactive configuration. It was like a heart that had forgotten how to beat. For the next 6 hours, Emily worked in silence, broken only by occasional exchanges with Erling. She traced power conduits made of crystallized photons, mapped neural pathways that transmitted data at light speed, and slowly began to understand the elegant logic of Luxarian engineering. It was nothing like human technology where humanity built systems of components. The Luxarians grew their ships like organisms, each part connected to a holistic whole. The problem, when Emily finally identified it, was almost laughably simple. A micrometeorite had penetrated the hull 3 years ago, severing a crucial conduit just millimeters wide. The ship's self-repair systems had sealed the breach, but without that connection, the photonic core couldn't initialize its startup sequence. It was like a brain separated from its spinal cord, intact, but unable to function. "I need to bridge this gap," Emily told Erling, her mind already racing through possibilities. "But I can't use conventional conductors. They'll reject anything that isn't photonically compatible. Emily, we don't have Luxarian materials. There's nothing aboard the shuttle that could." "What about fiber optics?" Emily interrupted. "Pure silica fiber optic cable. It's primitive compared to their systems, but light is light, right?" Erling was quiet for a moment. Theoretically, yes, but the wavelength might not match. You could overload the entire system, or I could do nothing and leave this ship to drift for another 1,000 years. Emily was already moving, returning to their shuttle to retrieve the fiber optic cables from their communication array. The splice took another 4 hours. Emily's hands ached inside her gloves as she carefully fused human technology with Luxarian artistry, creating a bridge between two civilizations separated by millennia of divergent evolution. It was inelegant, crude even, but as her grandmother used to say, a repair doesn't need to be pretty, it needs to work. When she finally connected the last fiber, Emily held her breath. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the photonic core began to glow. It started as a pale blue luminescence, barely visible, then grew brighter and brighter until Emily had to shield her eyes. Light raced through the conduits, spreading like a nervous system coming back to life. And suddenly the entire ship was awakening around her. The gravity generators hummed online. Life support systems activated with a whisper of recycled air. Throughout the celestial Voyager, systems that had been silent for 3 years began their startup sequences, filling the ship with light and life. Emily, Erling's voice was nearly shouting in her ear. The ship is broadcasting. It's sending a gratitude protocol. I've never seen anything like this. It's thanking you. Emily stood in the center of the engine room, surrounded by flowing streams of crystallized light, and laughed. It was the laugh of exhaustion and triumph, of a human mechanic who had just performed surgery on a ship built by beings who had mastered Starlight itself. As the celestial Voyager's AI systems fully initialized and began plotting a course home to Luxor, Emily realized something profound. Humanity might not have the most advanced technology in the galaxy, but they had something equally valuable: the stubborn refusal to accept that anything was truly impossible, and the ingenuity to make the universe bend to their will, one repair at a time.